What's happening? What's happening?
What's up? You get people in here quick.
Take two. What's good? Can you see who's on here?
Yeah.
Rick.
We
What's
got
up, Mike?
Flesh in the house.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Hey, Pete, I wonder if we're having the same issue as those guys on their stream yesterday with the
I
sound.
hope not. How does it sound, you guys? Flesh, tell me. Take two. Tell me. Does it sound like shit? Is it drowning out? It's slow, but it's clean. Okay, we're good. Sounds like crap. Does it really?
I think it tries to pick up your voice rather than the guitar, and that's what was happening with those guys yesterday.
You know what's crazy though? When you're talking, it gets a lot louder while I'm playing. But when I stop, it fixes itself. It's weird. Killer as always. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. No Corey Feldman. Oh man, that's funny, Spencer. Faded away.
We'll get this down, but this is a good start.
You should learn Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Killer Clowns Outer Space. Isn't that a movie? No, I don't know any English. I'm sorry. Oh shit from Japan. What's good? I don't even know what that says. Slash, what's good? All right, that's good enough. It went from 60 to 40, so I guess we could start.
Yeah, that's probably about your average from 60 to 40 anyway.
Yeah, the other day I saw 100 and 112 or something crazy like that. I was like, holy cow.
Yeah, it gets crazy, and then chat gets wild. You can't even type anything.
Right, that part. All right, so let's get it on. We are
Cool.
here with Decide. He added me onto this chat. He came up with the idea of doing the interview and just talk guitar, and has a bunch of questions to ask me. Things like what's my penis size and all that good shit. It's good stuff. Right, right. It's door stopper, definitely. It's
Button
cool
on a
shit.
fur coat.
So take it away, brother. Take it away.
Cool. Well, anyway, if you guys don't know, I'm a regular in the chat. My name is Rob, but I go by Decide online. Um, and I thought maybe we should have everybody always asks the same type of questions. And for those of you that tune in regularly, maybe we can get you some answers and we can start asking Pete new questions. But I got a list of stuff that we could ask, and
The man came prepared. And by the
maybe
way,
when
yeah,
go
bad
ahead.
hurricane is coming this way, Florida. Florida claimer. Yeah, there's a bad hurricane headed this way.
Over here, it's hot. I'm in California.
Yeah, you guys get earthquakes. We get hurricanes.
Yeah.
All
All
right,
right.
so go ahead.
So I'll start first. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself? We know you are Puerto Rican, but that's probably all we know.
Well, I like to walk on the beach. I'm a very romantic person. Anyway, no. Well, about me, I was actually born in New York, and I grew up in Puerto Rico. And so, basically, my journey with the music industry, it's kind of funny how it all led because I was more into motorcycles. So the funny thing about that was I got into a motorcycle accident, broke my collarbone in two different places at the age of 10. So around that time, it was between 10 and 11. Around that time, I was in a cast. I couldn't do much. So what I decided to do was like, you know what? I'm one of those people that I have to keep my brain busy. I can't stay stagnant. I'll go crazy. So what I ended up doing was I ended up picking up an acoustic guitar that belonged to my uncle. My dad was like, because I asked my dad a while ago, say, hey, can I get a guitar, dad? He was like, no, you got too much shit that you want to do. Because first I got a motorcycle, then I want a guitar, then I want games. You know how kids are. So he said to me, I'll give you this acoustic guitar. If you could play a song for me on this, then we'll think about getting you an electric guitar. I'm like, all right, sweet. He set me up for failure because the guitar that he lended me had a broken neck from the heel. So whenever I would try to tune everything, the whole neck would just go this way. So it was impossible to freaking to tune it. So what I did was I was like, you know what, screw it. I just undid all the other strings and I just tuned that one string, the low E, and I learned how to play Mary Had a Little Lamb and one string. And I showed up to the kitchen. I was like, Dad, look at this. Man, I played the whole thing, and he looked at me and said, God damn it, I'm gonna buy this fucking kid a guitar now. Hey, you said learn the song. And then from that point forward, I just kind of fell in love with guitar, and I was simultaneously kind of like wanted to be a motocross rider as well as a guitarist. So it was wild how I got deeper into the music industry as I got older. There was a point in time, I think it was like 3 years, where I didn't touch the guitar. When I came back to it, God, I sucked even worse. It sounded horrible. But for some reason, I gained momentum in like probably a span of like 2 months. I started playing stuff from White Lion, and I was just immediately intrigued with Vito Brada's playing. It was very melodic, and I was more pushed towards that. Um, so yeah, that was basically my story from that point forward. I just kept polishing my solos and kept playing and kept practicing. And even though living in Puerto Rico, you get how the culture is.
Yeah.
Why are you playing that? You should stick with the music that our culture plays. And I'm like, but I don't want to play that.
Yeah,
You
my
know,
dad wanted me to play accordion.
yeah, they
No.
wanted me to play a cuatro, and they wanted me to play songs that was from the islands. Like they're like, yo, this is music. This is what you should be playing. I try to have like an uncle teach me, but he taught me chords like like those are the three chords he taught me, which a lot of Puerto Ricans used back in the day, and that was all the chords, and they made a million songs off of those three chords. And I was like, I don't want to play this shit. Soon as I started learning like power chords, I actually learned that from Green Day. That's what helped me because Green Day is all power chords, and that's what helped me get familiarized with the fretboard. And
That makes a lot of sense, and that's probably why you do play. There's always a Green Day section in your streams, and some people will complain, "Well, that's not what I listen to." But if that's where you came from, you're always going to
yeah,
play that. I'm the
yeah,
same way. I have a little bit of pop punk beginnings too. Um, I learned like a Blink 182 album, like my first summer with the guitar, by ear.
yeah.
And I by no means do I even like that band these days, but I'll still play it.
And my and just to say, this is my very first song that I learned how to play. Because even though I was into White Lion, I found that Green Day was much easier to play. And this was obviously my first song right here. Do you have the time to listen to me? Right? So that was the first thing I learned. I was like, oh, everything's a power chord. I could just figure it out. And I didn't, back in the day, there was no computers, there was no internet, there was none of that shit. So what I did was, I just learned by ear. I was like, oh, that sounds about right. This sounds about right. And this is how back in the day this was. My dad actually bought me this little, I don't even know what's it called. It's like a flute thing, but you literally go, "Doot,
A pitch
beep."
pipe.
What is it called?
A pitch pipe.
That,
Yeah, I used to
and
have
I
one
guess that
before.
actually helped me develop an ear because yeah, that was my thing. I was like, oh, okay. And it helped me understand. I was like, this is the sound that's coming out of this, and that should match pitch with that. So it helped me develop that ear. So whenever I would play in bands, I would listen and I'm like, oh, okay, I think I got okay, I have an idea. I know where to go on the fretboard. So that's what helped me familiarize myself.
So it sounds like you grew up and started learning guitar in the right time. Is that the 80s?
80s, yep. Yep.
Perfect. So I was born in '87, so I didn't really get to experience that, but that's the prime time of guitar, I think. With because you're into the hairband solos, you know.
Yeah. Yes, I was. Listen to what Flesh says. Hold on. He says, my dad had multiple personality disorder and told me to be a lot of things that made zero sense. Oh man. Laugh out the blow tuner. The blow tuner. I think that's what I called it because I didn't know the name for it. Nobody really knew the actual name for it. I already tore up the box, so yeah, that's crazy. You
So
guys,
break
if you guys
away.
want to chime in and ask questions too, go for it, man.
Why does
Take my
everybody
time.
always got to ask about your shiny head, bro? Being bald is being bald.
It's attractive.
It is.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't I
very
don't do it
attractive.
by choice, but I'm bald too.
Mine is by choice. It's easier.
It is. I used to have
But
big old.
my problem is that since I can still grow out a full head of hair, the problem that I have is that when I shave it the next day I can already feel the stubs. coming in. The very next day. That's how fast my hair grows. Tattoo asked about my finger picking ability. Where did you see that tattoo? Oh, tattoo man. Can you play with the guitar with only your thumb, pointer, middle fingers? I guess I can. You can see my hand, right? I don't play it often, but I try to practice. One of the ones that I actually learned was that was the first finger licking technique, I guess you want to call it. Finger picking technique I've learned, and that was it. I didn't. I don't know. I just never found any other songs that would attract me to play because that's how I play. I play to songs that attracts me. Like if you play me a song, it's like, oh, can you play this solo? Can you play this guitar riff? Can you play that? If it doesn't sound attractive to me, I'll be like, nah, I'm good. I'll pass. I don't want to put the work in it. But if it sounds like, when you listen to that song and you say to yourself, that's fucking hot. I want to try that. That's the kind of feeling I need to get, and then I'll get into the mode of learning.
Cool. Well, it looks. I'm gonna try and engage with the chat as much. Is your homie being held hostage? Is that me?
Ooh,
I ain't being held hostage, bro.
which one? We both. Funny thing is, we both have a window behind us.
Oh yeah. Yep.
No, no hostage. He's in Cali. I'm in Florida, so
Yeah. Opposite sides of the country. Okay. So I'm probably not gonna go in order,
that's
but I
fine.
do have all these questions. So a lot of people are asked about your gear. So I know for your live setup, you play various axes through your UA interface, and you use the ToneForge Jeff Loomis plugin, correct?
Right.
It's
The
working
cup.
out for you pretty well, it seems like.
Yeah, it's the setup is. You know what? I wasn't expecting it to come out as good as it does. Everybody asked me what am I plugged into, and I'm like, in my mind, I think to myself, are they asking me if I'm plugged in directly through an interface into the computer? And they don't. Sometimes I think they don't realize that I'm just putting the phone down and let the speaker of the phone pick up the sound, and that's
Right.
it.
And
It's
it
a simple.
sounds good. It sounds clean because I found with my streams too, you got to play at a low volume for it to pick up clean.
Yeah,
So you've seen my tower of amps, if I use those things, it's gonna blow the room away. It's gonna sound like shit.
yeah. And here's the thing, and this is a theory of mine with at least with cell phones. I've experimented where I played my what is this? Um, I got a 4x12 and a 2x12, and I've played that through the phone, and it's played like it sounds like trash on the other end. But when I play through these speakers, I'm assuming I want to assume because you're going from 10-inch speakers to like what are these like 3 inches? These speakers are tiny. They're like this big. They're like 3 inches,
Yeah.
and but they still have a great sound behind it. So they're speaker monitors. They're not just regular guitar speakers. So I'm assuming that that has a lot to do with it because the sound, if you play music through speaker monitors versus your car, it's the audio is different. You get what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
Right. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So you use those as reference when you're recording.
Hmm.
And then
Exactly.
and then when you got your final mix down, you plug well, I used to put a CD back in the day, put a CD in my CD player and listen to it in my car.
Yeah.
Uh, so
You sometimes can hear the difference. You have to have an ear for it. Like if you play a CD in your vehicle versus something that's streamed, the quality is a lot more crisp on a CD.
Yeah, absolutely. But only people have a fine ear for that. Select people, I should say. So
Select
there
people.
is a way, and I'm working on it, that you can start, because I want to start recording my tube amps and use them in a live setting. And there's this thing. Have you seen one of these?
Torpedo, really? What does that know? Oh,
So
is that an amp?
basically, it you can put this, plug your amp into it, and then you can do it digitally and use those. They're called impulse responses,
Okay.
IRs,
Hmm.
and use virtual cabinets. So then you can plug that in, go to your interface, and then you can hear your tube amp through your monitors at a sensible volume.
Oh, that's actually pretty cool.
So if you want to do all analog, there's a way to do that.
Right. There
I've
was.
had this thing for a year and I haven't even used it yet.
Have you heard you know Trivium?
Yeah.
They were playing through. I can't remember what it was, but they were playing all the guitar stuff was through the speaker, the stage monitors, and through the speakers. They didn't have actual amps at one point.
Right. I
All
wonder
their
if they're
live shows.
using something like an Axe Effects, because I know Periphery, they run a couple Axe Effects, and all their presets, they don't even use pedals. It's all goes through Logic Pro, and it's all programmed. So when they play a song and it's time to go from clean to distortion, the software will automatically change the patch. And so they got to be on their time. Like if they fuck up, you're gonna hear it.
Oh wow, that you have to be precise on that.
Yeah, that
You
ain't
have to
me. I
be.
play out of my ass all day, so that ain't me.
What is? I'm surprised Pete plays without walls. Dumper sounds so great to hear. What is walls dumper? Cop, you need to explain. I don't know. I'm lost. What did Flesh say? Preamp, great alive. Thank you. He usually shreds live. This is a treat. Yeah, ask questions, guys. Ask all your questions.
This is the time because
Yeah,
he's busy playing. He skips over a lot of questions because he's
a
busy playing.
lot. I get into a mode.
I feel it. So we covered when you picked it up, and you come from Puerto Rico, and so growing up, you had listened to cultural music there, right? Was
Yeah.
there
Well,
that big of a rock presence, or how did you find that? We didn't have YouTube back then. MTV?
so I can honestly say I was pretty blessed because when we moved to New York, from New York, I'm sorry, when we moved from New York to Puerto Rico, like I loved it out there. I was like, this is beautiful. I had so much freedom because in New York, as soon as the sun sets down, you had to bring your ass inside because people come out doing drugs and shootings, et cetera, et cetera. Puerto Rico, where I grew up, the side of Puerto Rico is the west coast of Puerto Rico, and it's very country, and everybody knows everybody. Like you can leave your vehicle, like a BMW, outside with your keys in ignition, and people will get in your car and lock it for you. And be like, hey, you left this in the car. That's the kind of environment I grew up in. So anyway, so there was a time frame when my dad was like, you know what? He loves to watch TV. And I love to watch my wrestling federation. What is it? World
World
Wrestling
Wrestling
Federation.
Federation, yeah.
Yeah, my dad was highly into that. So he went and got a satellite dish where we can get all the American channels.
Was it one of the big ones?
Yeah, yeah, the
Yeah,
massive, the
I
big.
remember
It
those.
won't even fit this room, and I tell you, the massive ones. And I had access to MTV, so I was constantly watching MTV. And I remember just wanting to get into drums, but the neighbor in front of me, he was into drums. He was older, and I was like, I don't want to do that, so I'll just get into guitars. So I ended up getting into guitars and listening to what was out there. And I used to listen to what was that? Fuck, Headbangers Ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was my shit back in the day. Headbangers Ball, and I got into it. I got into the Metallica, somewhat Slayer. Testament, Anthrax was one of my biggest. Megadeth was one of my biggest influences. But I was still very, very much into White Lion. That was my thing, and that's where most of my style came from. Is from Vito Bratta because of his melodic taste in solos. It just drew me. So yeah, I've always kept the music around me.
It's good. Speaking of Anthrax, I'm seeing them next week. It's gonna be cool.
Oh, I don't like you right now. I would love to see a live show.
Seeing Iron Maiden, Judas Priest, and Anthrax same day.
Ah, shit, dude, that's awesome. I would love to see that.
$200 later.
Remember Night Tracks? What is Night Tracks? You didn't jam with your neighbor? Yeah, we ended up forming a board. We ended up listening to listening. We ended up forming a band later down the line. And then the drummer was like, realized how much I sucked at guitar. He was like, "Why don't you play bass?" But I was like, I worked on it.
So, what attracted you to metal and heavier genres? What do you think stuck out?
Honestly, I don't remember how that came about because I listened to just about everything. But I think is like when songs like "Pour Some Sugar on Me" from Def Leppard, all of the what is it called? The hair band. Oh my gosh! Well, all the hair bands when they started coming out, but they were doing the all the ballads
Yeah.
like the Poison. All these bands started coming out. Striper was a big influence. They just when they started hitting the radio, at least in Puerto Rico, there was a station where they used to play it all the time, and I got drawn into it as as a young kid, and yeah, that's that was I was attracted. I listened to everything. That's the thing. I was just into everything. But then I started getting into a little bit more heavier stuff when I heard Anthrax. I thought they were like more down my alley because they were like kind of metal but goofballs. I
Yeah.
was like, God, this is more me.
It's
So,
interesting to see how different everybody's musical journey is. Because
mhm.
I grew up, I mean, my mom's like kind of ghetto and stuff. So I grew up listening to hip hop and like gangster rap and R&B. And I never thought I was like, I'm not listening to that rock shit until I was 12. And I got, my buddy gave me a guitar, told me to learn it over the summer. And then I instant switch, you know.
Oh
So I
yeah,
feel like I was exposed to rock music real late, but like it just took over.
yeah. It just takes what one time, again, it goes into something. I don't know. It's just like you said, it's like a flip of the switch. Like when it hits you, you know. Like
Yeah.
I remember being in my cousin's house in Puerto Rico. He was like, "Yo, listen to this shit," and it was Down Boys by Warrant.
Okay.
That intro when I remember, and I don't know if it was the system he had because he had two big speakers in each side of the room over by the roof. His setup was crazy, and he was like he played the cassette, played the cassette when he hit play. The first thing I heard was that right there. The combination of like that hard guitar sound to bringing it back to that melodic. I thought that combination it blew my mind. I was like, "This is fucking great!" And I remember I brought the whole cassette, and it took me a minute to get used to it because that song was so powerful. And then when I went to the next song, I was like, "Well, this one sucks." Fast forward, that one sucks. Fast forward, that one sucks. I was like, "Damn, a whole tape." I didn't like any of the songs in that tape. But
Oh
then
wow.
after listening to it for a while, then I got used to some of the songs. I'm like, I started liking certain songs here and there, so I got used to it, and I was like, okay. But yeah,
It's Cool. So your first guitar was that shitty acoustic your dad gave you, but
Yeah.
he bought you one, and what was that?
CMS? Some off-brand, I have no idea.
It was acoustic or electric?
No, it was an electric, a white electric guitar. It had the headstock was very much like a Jackson, that same headstock, but it was called CMS. I don't know where it came from. We just grabbed it. I didn't know guitars back then. I was a kid. In my mind, this is how uneducated I was about guitars. Okay. When I would watch these music videos, not realizing that there's video editing behind it, I would see somebody all the way up here, right, doing this, and the sound will come out something like around here, but he was up here. And I was like, can I stretch that note all the way up there? And you know how many strings I broke because of me watching these stupid videos, not realizing that there's video editing in behind it. So there's that. I bought the guitar, and of course I'm sitting there going, how do I get that sound like they do on MTV? Not realizing, I realized I bought a guitar. I didn't realize I need to buy cables. I need to buy amplifier. I need to buy pedals. I need to buy all this shit that I wasn't aware of. I had to go to my neighbors, and he educated me about what to get. So that was a learning curve because now I was like, my dad's like, yeah, we'll get you an electric guitar. He didn't know that he had to buy also an amplifier, pick, strings, pedals. He was like, this fucking shit is expensive. You know how parents are,
Oh
especially
yeah.
Spanish parents. They're so cheap. They're like, nah, we don't want to spend all this goddamn money on you.
So bored listener says kids nowadays are so lucky. Even the $120 are good. Only $120 guitars are good. That's true. I feel like these cheap guitars have gone a long way. I started off on like a little Squire with single coils that just buzzed so bad, and I played on that for a while. But I think what the advantage that kids have these days is YouTube.
Yeah.
We have to like just guess what they were doing,
Hmm.
or try to slow down a track or rewind and press play.
Oh, I didn't have that. I had a tape, and it was rewind, play, rewind, play, rewind, play, rewind, play.
Yeah. And then I had I had 56K internet back then and trying to get tabs, but I never got to see it in person.
Is this for real? You see that what tattoo says? Any pointers for someone who's wanting to learn guitar but only has three fingers to hold chords?
I
I was
say
in.
I say you can keep going all the way. There's a guy, his name is Django Reinhardt, and his hand was mutilated, and he only played with these three fingers, and he can rip better than I can. Could I think he's dead
I've
now.
seen him.
Yeah, he
I've
plays
seen him.
gypsy jazz.
Yeah, he can shred. He can definitely shred. So it's possible, tattoo. You just got to work very hard at it, man. You have to be
You
very
might have to work a
dedicated.
little harder than other people, but
Hmm.
it's possible.
Hmm.
If you can make pleasant sounding sounds on a guitar, it doesn't have to be complicated. It can be slow. It can be
Hmm.
not that many notes, but if you're doing it, you're doing it.
Right. Like, for example, even though he can't play guitar anymore, he still writes music. Jason Becker
Yeah.
with his
Yeah,
eyes.
he has ALS. He can just move his eyes.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
I
That's
feel
all he can move, and he still writes
so
music.
bad. That's probably the worst disease to get. I wouldn't wish that
Yeah,
on anybody.
it's horrible. I know.
But the
Hold on.
music
Hold on a
comes out.
second. Let me move the baby over to the floor real quick. She's complaining a little bit. Keep them entertained.
Yeah. So we got 52 of you. How you guys doing today? Yeah, he really didn't deserve it, and I think he got it when he was young, which sucks. I think it's usually Kiko Loureiro. Oh yeah,
Kiko. That's a crazy sound, bitch.
yeah, yeah. I followed him pretty closely for when he was playing with Angra, and then when he jumped over to Megadeth.
Yeah, I can't believe they got rid of him. Or he had to. What was it? What was the story behind it? He had to quit because of he wanted to spend more time with family.
I think I read something about that, or I saw a YouTube video with him saying like that. I personally enjoy his solo artist stuff anyway.
Yeah, he's a beast. He's definitely a beast.
Yeah,
I
just
feel like because you're under the wing, you're under Dave Mustaine. I feel like Dave Mustaine likes to hold his artist back a lot.
definitely him. So a lot of good guitarists are coming out of Brazil, and
Yeah.
I listen to these guys from Chile. Alejandro Silva. Have you heard of him?
Mm-mm.
Dude, he rips.
Really.
Yeah, you might
You
check it
got
out.
you got to send me his link when we're done with the live so I can check it out.
Yeah, of
I definitely
course.
want to listen to it.
So you come a long way since your first guitar. Now you don't have a CMS anymore. You got a couple gems, and tell us more about what's your favorite guitar to play these days. I see this one a lot.
This one I play a lot because it's to be honest, this was for a while. This one was my least favorite. And because I couldn't figure out there was something I don't know what honestly I don't know what the fuck I did because I adjusted the bridge, I adjusted the neck. I was all over this thing, and the problem was that when I was trying to do the pinch harmonic in here, this specific area, third was that fourth fret, third string. I constantly do pinch harmonics in that, and it would fade quick. It'd be like pew, 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 and I'm like, what the fuck is that? Like, why? There's certain songs I have to do pinch harmonics there, and I couldn't do it because of that. So it was my least favorite for a while. Then when I completely cleaned the I took it I usually do that. I take it apart and I completely clean the fretboard and whatever. So I put new strings in, and maybe it's the strings. I don't know, but that's the thing. I've been using Diodarios for a while. I go back between Diodarios and what's the other one? Oh, I have it in here. The whatever these guys are. Ernie Ball. Ernie Ball.
Bowling balls, yeah, that's what
Yeah.
I use almost exclusively.
I toggle between because I sometimes I want to change the sound a bit and the feeling of it. So I go between those two. I toggle between whatever sound. But yeah, anyway, so I don't know what I did. I just readjusted the bridge. Um, I put in regular what point nines. I think to like 48, I believe. Which is what I usually use for this guitar. And for some reason I got the sound back. I got my pinch. It's back.
It better be back for the price of that guitar.
Yeah. For long as that, and I dabbled on the idea of selling it, but then I saw the price point on it on Reverb. I was like, I'll hold on to
You let me know when you're selling that.
it. I don't think I will now. It's become it's become. Let's just say I like it a lot now, a lot more than before. So and this put it this way, it's very attractive. Like whenever I play it, people look at it and say, "Oh my god, that guitar is beautiful."
Matthew Perallo asks, "What pickup is best for harmonics?" Are you talking about pinch harmonics? I'd say anything hot.
Anything hot,
DiMarzio
yeah.
Evolution.
Yeah, and also the wood. The wood plays a big role because this is basswood. This has a very dark tone to it, um, opposed to mahogany, which is my Gibson Les Paul. And man, I can do a pitch harmonic and hold that note for years. It's crazy. It's just yeah, it's insane. And then combined with the new with the Fishman Fluence Moderns I slapped on it, yeah, it's a
Yeah,
beast.
that's a dope combination. I
Mhm.
had that idea for Epiphone Les Paul that I had, but I never
Mm.
did it. Board listener says the penis size also affects the sustain of the harmonic.
Where you see that?
It's the last comment.
Oh, I thought you said the PSI.
That's hella
Uh,
funny.
that's
Gibson Explorer fan is here. He's a regular. Any tips for Floyd Roses? I say avoid a Floyd Rose and get an Ibanez Edge or low floor Edge.
yeah, the Ibanez Edge. The side could tell you. He could tell you that when he tried the Edge from Ibanez, these things are just I don't know. They're just different. in a
Here,
good in a
I got one right here. This is the best. This is the original Edge,
yeah.
and whenever I see them, they go for a lot of money. But when I see one for a good price, I pick it up just in case I need it in the future.
They're really good. Like I can't even explain how good it is because I have a Floyd Rose, and I played the German one versus like a 1000 series, and I've tried and these guys, and for some reason the ones in the Ibanez's are just they're just fantastic.
So a good runner up to those is the ones made by Godo, because Godo makes the Ibanez ones anyway. So if you can get that 1996 GT or whatever it's called,
Hmm.
go for that. Um,
Oh, it felt
yeah,
great
somebody,
to
poor
take
listener just
two.
said the same thing too.
It felt great, bro. It's the thing is, the only thing is, I'm me playing it. It sounds great, but I think it's the strings he slapped on it. I don't even know what brand he slapped on it, but I'm not feeling it. So I'm gonna beat on those for a little bit, and then I'll just switch them out for something different. Um, I'm thinking to slap on some Ernie balls and see how she really sounds because yeah, but it's man, it feels good to have her back. It felt really good. I forgot how heavy that bitch is.
Yeah, yeah, they're heavy. That's that mahogany.
10
Says,
pounds.
hello guys and all viewers for the channel. Heartfelt greetings from Russia. Metal lives forever. Привет!
Russia, thank you.
Привет, меня зовут Роберто. Я не очень хорошо говорю по-русски.
Oh shit, you speak the language. What the fuck?
Remember, my wife's Russian, dude.
Yeah, well, I didn't know you spoke it, you know? It's like my wife is from Zimbabwe, but I don't speak Shona. That's what she speaks.
Yeah, I know. I speak like a child. I kind of just grew up with my little niece when she was learning English.
Ah, okay. Do you know Spanish
Dan
too?
Anderson, look at that.
Oh, it's Dan Anderson. What's up? We were just talking about you, brother.
How long did
Respect
it
my
take
brother.
you to
God
learn
bless.
pinch harmonics? Matthew's asking.
How long did it take me to learn pinch harmonics? Well, my story is a little different. Mine, it's funny enough, mine was an accident. I never heard of pinch harmonics until I did it by accident. So I'll show you an example of how I kind of played it. Shout out Dan. Shout out to Dan Anderson. Follow this guy. Dan Anderson is amazing. Also follow this guy. Decide he's amazing too, man. These two are rippers. Rippers, right, Dan? Rippers. Love it. So going back to pinch harmonics, so I was doing something similar to I don't remember exactly how it happened, but I remember me playing and me hitting the with the pick, the thumb. It's a combination, and I did it on accident, and I never stopped. I just kept going, and I just kind of perfected it to my liking. So something like this. I did something like that, like that. Like I accidentally, and when I hit it on accident, I just kept going. I was like, ooh. And so on. Sorry, I got a little carried away, but the point is that I just kept going with it, and then just utilizing that all up and down the fretboard to kind of figure out, okay, what areas can I hit the pinch harmonic where it just sounds the most, where I can get the most sound out of it. So that's basically how I ended up.
I think
Thank
that's
you,
how a
Dan,
lot
man.
of us.
Watching you is awesome too, man. Thank you, appreciate you.
I think that's how a lot of us come across the pinch. I think you just do it accidentally one day, and then. So I'm not even sure if I do it correctly, but I do it when I pick. I use these little picks, but my thumb is like right under there. So I strike the note with the tip of the pick, and then I almost simultaneously hit it with my thumb, and I just get that squeal.
Yep, that's exactly how it is.
My friend calls it a pinche harmonic. Pinche
Ooh.
way.
Pinche way.
So yeah, that's probably your top question. Everybody asks you about your pinch harmonics because you hit them all day.
Oh yeah, I love
It's
using
just a
them.
practice thing.
Thank you, Dan, man. I appreciate you. You got this, Randy, that friend. Calls it pinche harmonics. But yeah, yeah, I incorporate pinch harmonics in almost everything. I feel like it's almost to a point where I'm gonna start annoying people. I'm like, this guy, all he does is pinch harmonics. I get tired of his shit. But I enjoy it.
If you enjoy it, do it. Fuck what everybody else thinks.
Facts.
Obviously, they think positively of you because you got 4,000 subscribers.
Yeah, I'm on Dan's heels. He's got like 5K, almost at 6K.
Yeah, I got 36, bro.
3,600? 36. Oh.
36.
You stupid.
It's all good. I'm not in any rush, I probably need to better my content and I'm brand new on YouTube,
Well, here's the thing. This is what helped me out also. Because my personality used to I started vlogging at around 2020. So, and I used to do it on the motorcycle channel. And on the motorcycle channel, I remember when I first started, I was just like you, just kind of timid, didn't know, like just kind of, oh, hi guys, we're going down this road now, and we're gonna punch it. Like I was so awkward. I sounded awkward, and just going back and listening to myself, and I hated hearing myself, and then I got used to it. But after you practice, your personality tends to come out. So that same personality, I just kind of put it onto this channel and just combining the playing the guitar and just interacting with everyone. Even though sometimes I get lost, when you
And
start playing, you already know how it is. You
it's good
play
to
and you get
show
lost.
your human side. A lot of people only post polished stuff and you're just
Hmm.
kind of expected to think, "Oh, you're perfect all the time."
Right.
So I threw that out the window and I was like, "I don't give a fuck if anybody hears me mess up because that's, you know, I improvise 100%."
Yeah. Dan, Dan is so extra. Stop it. He says you can have all of them, brother. I gift them all to you. All his 5K subscribers. Oh man, Dan, you crazy, man. Those are yours, man. You've earned those. My guy,
Yeah,
you're talented.
he's got a really good system. He's live busking. He's got his PayPal set up. I think he's multi-streaming, and then he's got support from I think Eileen in the chat, and she
Hmm.
she shouts out everybody. Everybody has fresh channels, and
Yeah.
she's kind of like the main moderator for him. So he's got a lot of support behind him.
Yeah, it's dope. It's really dope. He's got a great setup. And what helps him out, see, and that's the thing, what helps him out also is going back to what I said, personality. Dan has a lot of personality, and he uses his raspy voice to make it. That's honestly that's what started the whole thing. I came here. I remember bumping into his channel, and all I heard was like, "Shout outs to you guys, man!" I was like, "Oh, I love this motherfucker," and I'm like smiling, like, "This is dope." And then I'm hearing him play. I'm like, "Damn, this guy's good." And he's got a great sound, and the guitar just looks amazing. I'm like, "Oh yeah, he's got a great setup," and I just instantly got hooked. And I'm just every time he hops on, I hop on his stream. There's another streamer that I do watch also, but he plays and sings also, but his is a little bit more um like live performance. Like he'll play a song and play it with a backtrack. Like he's got a cool setup.
Right.
But
What's the
but
name of him? We can shout him out.
he's man, I forget what the name of his channel. I'd have to look it up because I don't remember. I just see it and I just hop on it. I don't hop on his all the time because it's there's no he doesn't really solo. He's just more of a performer. Like he sings. He's got a great voice.
Yeah,
So
that's cool. Everybody has their own little bit of flavor. I'm a backing track guy too myself. Like I said, I just improvise my way through most things. I haven't learned. I've been playing for 24 years, but I never learned songs, which I should. It'd probably make me a better player.
you
But
should
you have a lot of
because
good players. Like,
it puts you like if you play. Just think about it this way: playing other people's stuff puts you on kind of puts you like on the spot. Like, oh, I'm not used to because there's like certain things. You know how you have things out of muscle memory. We all have that thing that we constantly do, whether you realize it or not. We kind of go back to that same whatever rhythm or solo, whatever. You see me do this a lot. You see me. I do that a lot. I don't know if you ever noticed it, but I feel like I'm like I do that a lot. So I try to mix it up, but like if you listen to other people, you incorporate other styles. Like for example, Zach Wild. When I used to do my pinch harmonics, they sounded much different than they do now. So I love the fact that he when Zach Wild does his vibratos, they're very wide and big.
Yeah.
They're very exaggerated. I'm like, I love that, and that's what I do. I incorporate that. I incorporate that with my style because that's what I love. And I'll switch it up too. Not all the time will I be hitting those big, big vibratos. I like to, from time to time, I'll give you like a good example. I do a little bit of,
Yeah, that's what I say. Make that fucker sing.
yeah.
You know
You
what I mean?
you just pull on that bitch and it just makes it sound so full. When you're doing when I see so like this is the first thing that pops in my mind. And no disrespect, he's a great guitarist and everything, but Kirk Hammett. When I see him solo, literally this is all I hear. Like the like that fast vibrato.
He should have taken more than 5 lessons with Joe Satriani.
But that I just feel like it's lacking. Like when you sit there and go, it's but rather than it sounds better. It sounds fuller. It sounds I don't know. I can't explain it. It's a
It
feeling, I
sounds like
guess.
there's more soul behind it.
Right.
So
Right.
one of
You
the
said
big
it.
complaints about people is that when people are critiquing guitar playing, they say there's no fucking feel. And
Mhm.
I used to be like, well, you're full of shit, you know? If you're technically good, you're good. But sometimes it's just fucking sterile sounding. And
Yeah. There's no like you said, there's no emotion behind it. This is you're just playing.
I have a hard time. I like Metallica, but I'm not like a huge fan. But
Same.
Kirk Hammett, I've seen this video of him like playing with his ass, literally. Like he turned around and the guitar is on his ass. I was like, that's you're playing his booty, bro.
Right.
Even though he's a better guitarist than me, but in
Yeah,
my head,
there's
I talk
there's
shit.
some styles that he has that's pretty good. Um, but it's just again it's just I guess his style is not for me. Like I said, I was more Vito Bratta. Like if you know Vito Bratta, you would know he does stuff like, and I know it's very influenced by Eddie Van Halen, very much influenced, but his style is more melodic. So like the whole it's very different. It's just like what he plays is very heartfelt. Like
Right. Feels like a
here's a good
lot of
example. Here's a good example. Here's a better example. There's a song that he does. I don't like the song itself, but there's a break in between that's very, very like heartfelt. He does this whole
Now that's one guitarist I feel like he should have taken off a little bit more after White Lion. You know, you didn't really hear of him outside of that, given his talent. You know.
No, no, I'll do you one even better. Vito brought a left, right lion, and just disappeared.
Yeah.
He stopped playing completely. I don't know what happened or what, but that was it. He just quit. I was like, damn, one of my biggest influencers just, you know, it sucks because he was an incredible guitarist. Oh, thank you, Dan. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, Vito is something was something else. So I saw him. There was a video that was leaked where Vito was caught on the side of the stage. There was a band that had just finished playing, and he was on the side of the stage. I'm like, oh, there's Vito. Man, he looks so old. I was like, wow. But everybody has their reasons, man. Hopefully, I think he's probably just saved his pennies and left the music world behind because you got to remember back in the 80s and 90s, record companies were screwing people over. They were just screwing
I
people over.
think
They were,
I think they still do.
yeah, yeah. I think they still do too, just in a different way where you can't really see it. But back then, musicians were broke. Metallica was one of them. Megadeth was one of them. Like all these bands that you see, that you can see this all this fame and glam, and no, they were broke. They were trying to pinch pennies to try to find that what they were going to eat, what their next meal was going to be. So
Or where their next dope bag's gonna come from.
yeah, that's probably why they stay high, so they don't feel
Yeah.
hungry.
Yeah. Well, I hope Vito still plays privately. You know,
I hope so too, man.
I
I
I don't
do.
really see people. If you're that talented, how can you just put that down? Yes, it's Decide, Kirk Hammett. How you doing? We were just talking about you.
Kirk Hammett, we were just talking about you. Oh man, I don't think Vito had a broken wrist. He just called it quits. Vito was fine. From my understanding, well, his excuse was he left the music industry to take care of his family, his parent, his dad. I don't know if he ever married or what happened, but he just yeah, poof,
Poof.
poof.
So, do you even touch your analog setup? Do you touch your amp anymore, or are you always just playing through the computer setup? It's
Yeah.
easier, dude.
It's a lot easier. You turn on, you plug in, you go. With that amp, I literally like okay. I have to kind of plan my day. I'm like, all right, I got to leave her on for between 7 to 10 minutes for the tubes to warm up. So I was like, all right, I can turn on the amp, leave it on standby, go take a shit, take a shower, eat some cereal, and then come up. And I'm like, okay, now I'm ready to play.
Yeah.
And then by that time, this little room, that bitch heats up so much, I'm sweating in this room. I'm like, yeah, it's easier just to set up the computer.
Oh
So,
wow.
yeah.
I didn't realize he heats up the room. I've never really noticed that. Dan says he's an ant man here. Me too. But for the sake of recording, if I need to lay down some ideas, I just plug straight in my interface and turn on. I got Logic and GarageBand, but sometimes
Mm,
I don't need the complexities of Logic. I'll just lay down some ideas, plug in and go. As far as I'm not trying to mic all my shit. You've seen my shit.
yeah.
It's kind of overwhelming, you know? I think I hear your baby.
No, no, no. That's the Miss Rachel.
Oh, Miss Rachel.
Hold on, I got a message from work. Hold on. What is this? I can't come in. I have the baby. Let me see. I know you're off today, but there's any way you can assist from home or come into the office. It would. Oh man.
Uh,
Anyways, so let's
so
go back into it.
we're kind of a crazy schedule, huh? So we can catch you pretty much most days of the week, but Wednesdays and Saturdays are out the question, correct?
Wednesday, yeah, because Wednesday is my wife is off, So I try to spend my time because our schedules are so they're literally like so opposite. Like I'll come in, so I get off usually around anywhere between 3:30, 4 o'clock, right? Um, and I'll pick up my daughter and take care of just take care of her for the rest of the evening. My wife doesn't get home until 8:30. Now, mind you, my wife, she travels 70 miles each way every day to
Oh, that's
work.
rough.
It's hard. Yeah, it's a lot. And so I try to pick up as much as I can on my end to help her out. So when I come in, usually I just leave my daughter at daycare. I come in, I'll play my guitar for a while, go on live, and then I'll stop the stream, go pick up my daughter, feed her, and then once she's fed and changed and everything and good to go, I'll let her do her thing. You know, she's very quiet. She don't bother nobody, and she'd let her play. So I'll just come on live again until I stop again around. I'll start that'll start back up around maybe 4 o'clock. No, I'm sorry, six about anywhere between 6:45 7 o'clock ish, and then I'll stop at 7:30 because I know my wife will call at that time, around that time. And that's it. So basically, every Sundays I'm off. Mondays I'm off. Tomorrow I won't be able to stream because we have a lot that we need to cover. Um, Other stuff that we got to handle as far as us go. But yeah, Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays are out of the question. Sundays, typically for the most part, on and off all day, and Mondays same thing.
Well, that's very respectable that you do set a time that side for your family.
Oh
Some,
yeah,
some people don't do that. But even though I have to shut down. I try to put my phone down at a certain time every night, and concentrate on my wife, and you know, got to have the balance of your fun and family time.
yeah, absolutely,
So
absolutely.
you know a
Plus,
lot of songs, dude. Is that just something you pick? Do you like? I guess when you hear a song, you decide if you want to learn it, right?
yeah, it's like
And
one of those things where if I really like a song, I'm like, oh, I think I'm gonna learn this. But of course, I'm my ADD kicks in, and I'm like, yeah, squirrel, and I'm off to something else, other shit. So it's hard for me to stay focused on one task.
I'm the same way. Or for me, sometimes I feel like I have so little time to dedicate towards my playing and stuff. It may seem like this is all I do, but I'm very career focused. So I only have, you know, an hour or two today to actually sit down and try to learn stuff or practice or do my exercises. So I end up I play the same thing every day. It's kind of just a routine.
Read what Dan wrote. I'm sorry.
Pete, you look familiar. Were you in a band before or were you an actor? Yeah, dude, he was in the Fast and the Furious. Remember that?
Oh man, that's funny. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's go back to what were you asking again?
I think I brain farted. I think I was just talking about time you dedicate into learning things or just kind of bettering yourself as a guitarist.
Nowadays I don't really. If I find something interesting, I'll learn it. Back then, when I wasn't married, I didn't have a kid. I'll sit down and practice and learn stuff. But lately, I haven't. I haven't been doing that, which is it's interesting. Yeah, your life kind of changes when you have a whole family.
But it's good to stay in practice. So you are being productive by staying in practice and playing every day and producing content.
Yeah,
So you're not gonna, because honestly, a guitar is a thing. If you don't use it, you do kind of lose it. I want to say I was better in my 20s than I am now because I was always playing. So everything you learn is by ear, or do you use tabs too? I can't hear you, but go ahead and take the call if you need to.
how about now?
I can hear you.
Okay, my wife was calling. I'll call her back when I'm done with the interview.
Okay, I'll try not to take up too much of your time.
No, it's all good, man. It's all good. Yeah, I'll
Did
give her a call back in a bit.
Did you tell her we were doing this?
I did. I did.
Okay. Yeah, it took my wife by surprise too. I can't see you anymore though. It looks black. Chat, can you see Pete?
Can you hear me though?
I can hear you perfectly.
I don't know. My video froze. Dang.
I thought you got the new iPhone, dude.
I do. I do. I don't know what happened. I don't know if it's gonna take a minute to catch up or
Let's
what.
see if it bounces back. Hopefully it does, because I don't know why mine would stay. I guess the call. Did she FaceTime you?
Yeah, no, she just regular called me.
Huh. Technical difficulties. Do you want to? How do you want to?
Yeah.
How
I
do you
guess
want?
we'll end it here. We've been on here pretty much
We
long
can do
enough.
we can do a part two another time.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. There's too much going on. I got my job calling me. I got my wife calling me. Like, yeah, there's a lot going on. I wasn't expecting all of this to happen today.
Everybody let Pete handle his shit. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll continue this another day. And it was nice to meet you guys.
Yeah, thank you, Decide, for having me and doing this, man. We'll do a part two, definitely. Thank
Yes,
you
sir.
guys for coming through. Make sure you guys like, subscribe his stuff. You know, I put his link on my description, so you can just click and follow him if you haven't been following him. And
Yeah,
make
I'm
sure you guys,
amateur hour over here, but go ahead and follow me if you want.
yeah, make sure you hit the notification bell also. That way you get notified whenever any of us hop on live. You get notified. So,
All right.
all right, you guys. You can't see me, so I'm not even gonna play. We'll just cut it here.
Cool.
All right,
Catch you
brothers.
later.
Take care, man. Peace.